Hello everyone and welcome back to Rise of Industry. We're going to pause the game just for a moment so I can cover the important info. Now, before we get down to the episode itself, let's cut to the chase and reveal the winner of the first key, and that is LexC. Thank you so much for participating, everyone. And just to address the elephant in the room, yes, I was made aware that after a certain amount of replies, YouTube seems to have some issues accepting new replies to a comment. There seems to be some sort of upper limit before things get very hit and miss. So as I addressed in my community post and on Twitter and on Discord, you could just go ahead and post a reply anywhere. Just a regular comment would do, and I would go through and tally them all up. I even roped Lady Shilab in to help me to make sure I didn't miss any. So all comments were added into a giant list of about 715, somewhere around there, replies, and then I used random.org to select the winner, which again was LexC. Very, very well done there. If you have me on Discord, then go ahead and send me a DM. If you don't have me on Discord yet, just by all means, there will be a link down in the video description below. It was easier when I could just ask you to send me a YouTube message, but unfortunately, YouTube got rid of that as well. Progress in the wrong direction. But in today's episode, we are going to be expanding on our paper mills by adding a new lumberyard and then probably 1 or 2 paper mills. Now, obviously, we are also going to be giving away another key today. This time, we're going to forgo with the idea of just replying to a pinned comment. So just comment on the video anywhere you like to let me know that you are interested in the giveaway, and we will see what we can do. Right, best of luck, everyone. So, unpausing the game, let's jump into this, and again, we want another paper mill around here, somewhere near the plank warehouse. Now, this is the plank warehouse, which is not exactly what we want, because it's now also supplying paper. So, plank and paper warehouse, maybe? Wood warehouse, we'll call it. That'll do good enough for now. Maybe we'll need a separate warehouse at some point. But the first thing we want to do is we want to get down another gatherer. So another lumberyard, but this one should maybe be a little bit further away. It doesn't strictly need to be, though. Ultimately, it could be fairly close by. And sure, let's pop one down perhaps around here. Then we can have some more lumberyards around it. Yeah, sure. We'll pop that one down there. And I'm going to draw out the road first, just so that I've got all of that connected. We'll draw it out a little bit further besides. There we go. Right, lumberyard 2. Ooh, all right, we've got some things going on. What have we got? Alfreton. Ooh, we might need to have a look at that one. But first, let's get these, the actual lumber gatherers down. We'll have... sure, we could have them over here, I guess, though I'm a little bit concerned about having them too close together. We'll have another one possibly over here just to mix things up just a little bit to make sure that we've got everything connected. There we are. And down here as well. Now, of course, with that, we're also going to want to place down a lot of trees. It takes a long while for all of these to grow, so we should make sure they're all done now. Some of our areas probably don't have enough trees, if I'm perfectly honest. So we may be operating at a bit of a lower production rate to start with, but eventually that will improve. And as you can see, all of the trees around there have grown up quite nicely. Right, there we go. So that's all sorted. That should be being pulled down automatically. So let's have a look at these auctions. Right, Atherton. Atherton. I believe Atherton is down this way. We've got Bardney there, or Stravstock. Oh, okay. Maybe I'm completely wrong then. Atherton must be up the top. Atherton. Oh, sorry, Alfreton. What is Alfreton like? Region? Nah, it's much the same as we've got already. So I'm not particularly interested in this one. How much are they asking for? 22 million? No, I think we can wait on that one. We don't need Alfreton, so we're not interested in that one. Though Team Enterprise is definitely going for it. I wonder how many places Team Enterprise has got. Now, there is something to be said about just trying to block our competitors from getting these regions, because it would stem the amount of industry that they would be able to build. Now that is probably worth doing, if I'm perfectly honest, but we're not going to do it just yet. Right, let's get another couple of these buildings down. I think another 2 would be comfortably able to make use of all of the logs that we're going to be bringing in. There we are. We'll run a road right around, but also up and around on this side as well. Nope, one more. There we go. That way we've got some movement there. There we are. Pathing alert. What do you mean pathing alert? That's a lie. You can 100% get over there. You scallywag, you. Right. The hardware store will get logs only once we've got more than 10 stockpiled, and that seems like a good idea there, honestly. Minimum stored at source. Why are we storing these at source? We should not be. Let's reduce that. We want to make sure that we are actually providing... there's really no reason to have that there. We've got 9 per day, that's fine. Now, over here, I'm thinking we want to tighten up our transport of goods down here. How much orange? You'll take 7 per day, so 14... sorry, every 15 days, so 14 a month. Let's adjust this to maybe 2 months or at most 3 months. Let's go for 2 months first and see how that does. We'll store 2 months worth of product in this warehouse at any one time, and then we'll see how that goes further on. Now, how are our finances at the moment? Well, let's speed things up and actually let that move through a little bit. We should see a bit of an impact once we're actually getting more paper into the system. And while all of that's going on, let's go ahead and have a look down here. Now, ultimately, we would like to make a move for cardboard. This is a high tier product, and that would be very, very nice for us. We do have research efficiency, so we're doing reasonably well with that, I would say. We could increase our coastal harvesters and then massively increase the amount that we can do with plantations, but do we really want to do that? That is a good question. I'm not sure that we do, because we're already overproducing. By quite a lot, actually. We could increase urban road speed so that our trucks are even faster. I'm not sure that would really make much of a difference, however, unfortunately. But... oh, let's have a look what just happened there. Ooh, let's see here. Monthly payments of all existing and new loans down by 35%. I mean, wouldn't be terrible. It wouldn't be terrible, but I don't really think we need it right now. So we'll leave that where it is. Let's have a look. Basic distribution. We could add an extra truck. That might not be bad. That would allow us to move more product a little bit faster. But again, I'm not entirely certain on that one. Wooden trains, toys. Got a lot of things going on here. But I think cardboard is probably going to be one of the better ones for us to go to ultimately. So, with that in mind, that being said, we could sell cotton here. Everywhere wants it, so we could set up a little plantation for cotton. I mean, the more products that we satisfy, the faster these places are going to grow, and I can almost guarantee that they're going to accept cotton over here, because that seems to be a very basic resource. Yes, so we could go for cotton. There's wool and leather. There's also sand. We could start getting sand. But what would we use sand for is the question. We want a new industry, basically. That's what we're ultimately looking for here. It's glass. We could have bricks, glass. These wouldn't be terrible things, but we would need to bring in coal more than likely. Though bricks we can just straight up make. There's also concrete. And I believe we actually require concrete in Llandaff, do we not? Yes, we do require concrete in Llandaff. Okay, that's not a bad one, because then we'd have if we got an excess of sand, we can simply deliver that to Llandaff, or in fact to Wrestle. I would be alright with that. Sure, I mean, it's not going to... well, actually, no, it made a good, tiny little bit of profit there. It's not a very high profit good, so we're not going to make, a lot of money out of it, but, we're selling for a decent amount. And if it's just a byproduct, then that's not too bad. We could even perhaps set it up over here, though, generally speaking, I would like to have all of my heavier industries a little bit further away. That said, no, that's not quite enough there, but we could probably get some sand collection over here. So, okay, I think we're gonna go for concrete. Let's work that out. And then as a byproduct, we'll also use sand. Now, one of the reasons why I'm okay with this and looking at bricks and glass is that, in my experience, these are common things that towns want for their expansion. So it's definitely something that we can look into. Now, coastal gatherers would also be a worthwhile upgrade at this point then. So let's have a look at expanding out coastal gatherers as well. That'll come in time though. First, we'll just set up a basic little sand collector. Now we are going to want... Oop, it was a little bit too close. This has quite a lot of coastline to gather from, and if we are going to get larger gatherers, that would make sense. There we are. It's a little bit hard to see, but you can very, very slightly see a highlight in the green there. We're going to pop this one down about here, so we've got a good access to a number of the coastal spots there. Right. Okay. So we're also going to want another warehouse, obviously. So let's go ahead and build that right now. Warehouse. This one can live more or less here. I would say it would be fine. Sure. We'll have this warehouse right about there, and of course, connect these up. There we go, and there. So this one will be sand warehouse, I guess. There we go. Perfect. Pathing alert. That's fine. That's fine. Now, acquire permit for the... Ooh. Oh, you're going for it. Damn it all. Alright. Well, there's no way I can afford that without taking out really, really probably crippling debt. But Rassel would be a nice place for us to own. We're already operating in Rassel. Let's have a look at our loan options, shall we? If we were to take out a loan, our current loan... 83k. Taking out 4 loans would be required to get this. And that's only going to guarantee that I'd be able to compete. If they then upped it once more, that would be pretty rough. Oh, there's a 10 million there, actually. We could take a few, but 10% on 10 million? Yeah, that's gonna be quite nasty. They got any other larger loans? There's 15 million there. A 50 million and a 10 million would give us enough, but paying these back would be a significant hurdle for us. Still, Rassel would be a decent place to grab. That being said, we can still trade with Rassel. Farnham up here has the right resources for us, and it's only 9 million. We could allow Rassel to go. We can still do business in Rassel. It's just someone else will be able to do most of the work there. Honestly, I'm fine with that. We're going to keep our eye on Farnham. Although we are moving some product over there, that isn't going to be impacted, I don't believe. So I'm not going to worry about that one too much. 1, 2, and 3. Let's get all these hooked up. Nice and easy. There we are. And then this one can head up. There we go. Right. There we go. Right, so we shall be bringing in sand. Now, Llandaff is going to accept how much? 11 per 15 days. So we're going to allow you to take 22. There we go. Just raw resources, sand. Oh, this is a request. My bad. Let's disable that one. We want destinations. There we go. Right. And commercial. Llandaff. We'll store 22 only. And we'll only store once we've got an excess of 10. There we are. There we go. And we're going to set up something very similar over here. In Rassel, let's have a look how much you'll accept. You'll accept 7, so 14. So again, we're going to want 28, so 2 months worth of product if we can. There we go, and there we are. 28, exactly. Okay, now let's have a look at our logistic routes. Sand, once you start picking trade depots, you can start setting up trade routes. These should be automatically managed. There we are. Just make sure that it's all gone through. We could add like train and those sorts of things, and maybe with such a long route, a train route would be useful. We'll see. Bardney. Everyone is going for everything right now. Well, Bardney is another fairly expensive one. I'm happy for you to take Bardney off my hands. I don't care too much for it. All I want is a basic set of resources. So as long as I can take Farnham, I believe it was Farnham, yeah, then I'm fine with that. There's nothing else that I'm particularly worried about there. Right, concrete is a little ways away, so we're going to allow that one to move on. We really do need to radically increase our income here, I feel. And that is probably going to come by adding in some extra items. Possibly, I mean, we're already supplying grapes. Apples wouldn't be too bad, maybe even milk. Milk would probably also provide an extra in terms of leather. And we do know that, well, whereas Llandaff doesn't require leather, I believe Wrestle does. Wrestle, I keep saying it wrong. Yes, Wrestle does require leather, so we would be able to provide the milk to Llandaff and the leather to Wrestle. That might not be a bad move. We'll have to see, though, because livestock require a fair amount of different industries to support. They also require wheat. And if we don't need wheat here, then that might not be as good a move to make. But we do have our concrete. But first, let's go ahead and place down... oh, this is not... This is apparently not... Oh, wait, we're gathering the coastal harvesters right now. That's fine, then. I was a little bit concerned there for a moment. Right, so we are producing 1 per 10 days, I imagine. Let's actually have a look at that. Yes, every 10 days... sorry, 3 units every 10 days. Or perhaps... no, it should be 3 every 10 days. I don't believe these double produce, unfortunately. Right, okay, so... How much does a glassworks and smelter require? Now, this is going to produce pollution, so we are definitely going to want to set this up in such a way as to prevent that from getting out of hand. Let's have you down here somewhere. Yeah, just off the road, I think would be fine. Let's hook that up. Now, this is the problem. Where are we going to place the pollution? How large is your radius? Not quite large enough. I could deliver water over here, especially once coastal harvesters are set up. I could have excess water gathered, but ultimately I do want that to more or less just go to the facilities here. We should have an excess of water over here, though. Yes, we do. So we could just deliver that all the way down to the sand warehouse here. Is this within range? Yes, it is. Excellent. So this would also be able to request water, which this one should be... no, we don't have a trade depot over there, but we will build one right there, so it will help out. Okay, that makes sense to me. Let's go ahead and place down pollution preventatives straight away, because we are absolutely going to need them. We'll pop that one right there. Okay, and we'll add in a request for water. How much water does this require? 1 every 10 days, so 3 a month, so 6 in total for 2 months worth of storage. There we are. We'll set that up there. That should be nice and easy, though I am going to have to pop down a truck depot just over here, but that should be fine. All things said and done. We'll just pop that one in there. There we are. Truck depot 3. That is fine. What do you know? Orange depot. We'll call this one... well, honestly, the depot names are starting to get a little bit more difficult, but we'll have wood depot. There we are. And you will be the sand warehouse. We've got air purifier 2, glass works and smelter 1. That is fine. We are going to want to producing concrete. This requires 2 sand and 2... Ooh, it actually does require water itself. Ah, of course. Well then, that does change things a little bit. Alright. Well, this truck depot is probably not necessary. I'll leave it there, because eventually we may want to move things around. But we are going to require our own water being collected down here then. Very well. Let's get a water siphon. We can probably have the water siphon built up somewhere around here. And it should be able to access quite a large amount of... the coastal tiles here, but we don't want to block ourselves in. That is going to be quite important. So we could, for example, have this built a little bit further away. Yes, it is going to require that we do a little bit more traveling to get access to these resources, but overall I think that should be okay. Let's hook this up because we don't want to encroach on the territory for the gatherer here. These 2 tiles are reserved for coastal expansion. I think would be a wise move. There we go. That should be fine. All right, let's speed this along. There we are. Now we're going to require 2 water and 2 sand every 20 days. Well, then that leaves us quite a lot more. Between the 2 of these, well, we're not quite going to be producing enough, but we shouldn't be too bad overall. That'll only produce 2 concrete. We'll easily use this. That extra pump, we're going to be overproducing, and that's generally fine since we are also running the sand over to wrestle as well. There we go. Coastal harvesters researched. Marvelous. Right, next up, I do actually want to grab the improved roads. Let's go ahead and put some money into our infrastructure. And with that, we're going to increase our sand collectors. Let's have one there. And, well, since I can, I'll put one over here. And that will leave a little spot for my water siphon. In fact, maybe I should add some more. In fact, I definitely should. Let's get an extra water siphon here. And another water siphon over there. And then just hook them all up. And that should be fine for us. There we go. And these 2 can, well, honestly, you may as well just hook up like that. And then this one hook up there. There we go. That should be quite good for us. Now with that, we can afford an extra concrete, electro glassworks and smelter. Now, have I named these? Plank mill, paper mill. I mean, yeah, sure. We'll just leave that as a plank mill. We'll rename this to concrete smelter. I had to check the spelling of concrete. Not today, dyslexia. Right, let's see. Another glasswork and smelter. Let's see. Ooh, that one wouldn't have been a bad one to have, but we're going to leave it for now. Maybe I should take that ahead of taking out large loans, and perhaps I should just go ahead and grab Farnham now. The payment of all existing and new loans reduced by 34%, but only for the first 16 months, mind you. Smelter 2, there we go. That should do us quite well for the time being. Now, we need to move this concrete, however. And how much concrete does Llandaff require? It needs 9 every 15 days. That's fine. We'll move 18 across then. Where are we? That would be under tier 1, I believe. Yes, there we go. So straight over to Llandaff for every 8, rather a maximum storage of 18. There we go. Let's get all the way down. There we are. Nice. So that's a new industry up and running. So we're starting to move into the more construction side, and I'm glad about that, actually. That should help us out in the long run. Researching, we are dropping quite a lot of money on that, which is good for us. And once we've got this all the way up, then our roads should become even faster. We'll actually watch that as it happens. We've got a lot of trucks moving around. And welcome back. Just as we are about to finish our research, let's have a watch of how this speeds up. Now, of course, we had to unlock one-way roads first before we got to the 25% urban road speed. And has that really made much of a difference? Didn't seem to, I'll be honest with you. Okay. Maybe it's calculated differently based on this speed. Maybe that has adjusted the cost of moving the trucks, because that's what I would ultimately hope. I mean, moving the product around faster is useful, but it would be even more so if we could reduce the cost of our exports. Now, basically, I've had a few months now to observe our income, and it fluctuates between 1.5k to 500,000 with a product every other month. It leaps back and forth. So we definitely need new industries to start working in. Now, again, the milk wouldn't be too bad as 13 per, and obviously if we can also sell the leather, that would be very, very nice indeed. Alternatively, we could go straight for cotton, which is used in both Wrestle and over here in Llandaff, which would be quite nice. There's also bottles which are used. I imagine milk would require bottles. Let's have a look at that. Does milk require bottles? I mean, the glass factory would, we would require coal at that point, which is a bit of a problem. If we have a look over here to produce milk, no, that isn't in there. Interesting. It doesn't appear to be here. What? Okay. Do they just straight up produce the milk? They might do. There's no saying that they don't. Still, that would be a little bit odd if you were to ask me. But, well, you know, stranger things have happened, I guess. Okay, well, the next one, I think we could possibly go into the textile industry, because that would allow us to get fibers straight away as well. Ultimately, we will want cows for heavy fabric. Does anywhere require fibers currently? I doubt it, but cotton should be an interesting little industry to get going anyway. We could go for wool. That might be an interesting one. It is worth, it's actually worth less than cotton, but there's more of it used. But what would we want wool for specifically? Let's have a quick look. Canned mutton? Well, we'll just go with a basic industry to start with, shall we? I think that's probably a reasonable move early on. Let's look for textiles. So we'll want cotton. There we are. That'll be made at a plantation. And this should be a fairly easy research for us based on the speed that we can dump money into researching, which should go quite nicely there. When we aren't researching, then obviously our profits are way up because we're not using 250,000 a year, or rather a month. A year would be fine. There we go. Thank you very much indeed. What? What? I... No idea. Why? Where's this happening? I've got no... Oh, there we are. Orst must have just expanded. It's prospering. It now has a toy store. Okay. Very well. So we have some... we could sell some items. Ooh, that would be quite good. It's a very long way away, but we already have a land connection, though it probably would be better if we went through the coast for that. More than likely. We may actually set that one up. That might be well worth it to sell to that toy store. It's the only place that I know of with a toy store, so that would be quite useful. But we have our plantations, and with our plantations, I would like to set one up right now. Should we build it over here near the grape warehouse? That might not be a terrible idea. That being said, all of our warehouses kind of already do something. If I eventually increase production, which I kind of want to, then that is going to put a lot of strain on the roads there. So perhaps we should instead have this somewhere else. What we're going to do, given that, is I'm going to add in another road down here, just to alleviate things if we need them to. So that any production over here can just go straight down that road rather than going along. In fact, I could just make this a one-way road to stop clogging up around the grape warehouse. Right, so we're going to need a gatherer, and that will be a water siphon, probably down around here, I imagine, if we want to access this coastline. I would say that around here would be grand. It does have enough access to the coast, I would say, from this position. But it shouldn't be being hooked up to any other warehouse. Let's pause things there because it is going to complain. Let's get you guys set up. We'll have one down there, one there, one here. We don't need more just yet, so let's wait on that one. Hook that up there, and we'll just bring this all the way out. And then we can actually have it going up and around if we really want to. There's no particular reason to, other than I think it looks nice. Right, we want a warehouse somewhere over here next. Unfortunately, if I place it... See, the problem here is I'm going to be hooking up to multiple water siphons, which is not exactly what I want. Still, it's what's going to have to happen, I'm afraid. As much as I'm trying to keep these all neat and tidy and separate, that will be an issue. This will give us an opportunity, though, to check out if it is possible for us to limit the way that a warehouse is interacting with others. Let's have a look in here. Incoming products. Ah, there we are. So I can just turn that off. Okay, that's much, much easier. This one will be renamed so that we can keep track of this. This will be cotton siphon. There we are. That'll make things super easy for us. There we go. So I didn't really need to move that one as far out as I did in the end. That's fine though. I think we'll be okay with that. We'll just have this road coming straight up. And then we can have a connection perhaps over here. Like so. There we are. And we can have the cotton plantation somewhere around here. Now, I'm making a big assumption here that these plantations will work in exactly the same way as our other plantations work. And that may not be the case. So we may be in for a bit of a bad surprise here, but let's hope not. 1 per field, 30 days. Okay, that is exactly the same. Marvelous. That works well for us then. Okay, let's hook this one up right there. We'll have another one just down here, I think. Throw that one out. And then possibly another one down here as well. Let's have that one about there. There we go. That should give us plenty of room to put down everything we need. There we are. Another plantation. You can be... Ooh. Yeah, you can work there, but it's not actually in the ideal spot. We use it. There, and there. There we go. And hook you up. Then we don't really need that road. I don't believe we actually play any maintenance on roads though, so I'm not going to delete it. We may eventually want it. And over here, we definitely can have all of these set up like so. There we go. So we're producing all the cotton we could possibly want. That should all be being brought in. We're going to rename these to cotton plantations, just so, again, I know what's being grown there. And it'll be much easier for me in the future. Though, that said, I don't know what to say. That said, I haven't actually required that level of visibility. I've not been working with lists of plantations and having to double check which one's producing which. So maybe this is an unnecessary step, but we'll keep going with it since I've already started. There we go. It's certainly not doing us any harm at the very least. Right, now the only problem with having you over here is I do require another trade depot, which is starting to get a little bit annoying. But that said, here I could probably have you hooking up to both of these warehouses fairly easily. Ah, I need to make sure you're not bringing any cotton in. No, good, very good. So yes, if we have a truck depot right here, we should be fine. There we are. This one can be, we'll call it a cotton depot for now, or plantation. There we go. That should make things a little bit easier in moving stuff around. Now, Llandaff, how much cotton do you require? You require 9, so 18 over there, please. Let's get that all set up. And that will be under farm produce. Yes, it will. Even though it is a plantation, it is considered a farm. So we'll drop that one off here in Llandaff for just a straight up 18. There we go. And finally, we need to go and check out how much Wrestle will accept. Probably 7, I'm going to guess. 7. There we go. So another 28. We'll accept that. Now, we're starting to run low on room for additional requests at this point, which is a little bit of a problem, but we'll have to see how that one goes. But this should greatly improve our production. Our income. We've added a whole new industry, which both of the towns that we're serving want. It isn't a high-tier industry, but, you know, there is the problem. Right, next up, toys. Now, toys require wood, or I can just straight up make fluff, which I can then turn into dolls if I've got fabric, or teddy bears if I've got wool. I could then later on make a doll house if I've got toy furniture. And furniture bases. Interesting. Let's go and have a look at this, the requirements down here. Where are you? It's not Bardney, it is Orst. Orst, what does your toy store? They do actually want fluff. They want teddy bears, they want toy furniture, they want toy trains. They do want doll houses. We could go all the way down to a doll house. That's $112 per unit. Only 2 units every 15 days. So 4 a month, but still, that's actually quite nice. Likewise, with the dolls themselves, that's still 61. That's a lot of money. The toy trains, not nearly as much, but they have got a decent requirement for this furniture. Now, it would, of course, be a lot easier if we could set things up closer, but alas, we don't own anything in these towns, and other players own this one already. Tavistock, how about you? No, other person, Kirkswald. We could go for 10 million there and set up a little toy industry. That wouldn't be a terrible one, but ultimately I think I would like to make use of the cotton that we're already producing. And maybe even set up more cotton later on. Alright, we've got a bunch of wood being produced over there. I think we're, generally speaking, doing okay with that. Let's have a look. Yeah, we're not really stockpiling the wood there that much, so that should be fine. Cotton hasn't even begun production yet, so it's going to be a little while before we actually start seeing that make any kind of difference for us. But I think toys, sure. But before that, we're going to need advanced travel. We're going to need a boat turbo. We can build boats, have more boat capacity, more boat speed. Now, effectively what we would need with this is we would need to transmit the end product. So we'd probably need a warehouse down near the docks that was requesting these items. That doesn't look too bad. Ooh, pollution is getting out of hand. Right, where's that? Where's the pollution getting out of hand? Where is pollution? Now, sand warehouses is already full. Upkeep of all buildings reduced by 26 in Orst. Not really something we need. Storage, we're going to turn this one off. We don't need to worry too much about that one for now. But where is the pollution getting bad? Well, if we bring up our query tool, we can have a look around. Pollution will be one of the things. There's no pollution there. That's one of the main areas where we would see it. Down here, no pollution either. What about traffic? Is there a lot of pollution due to traffic? I'm not sure if traffic does pollute. Maybe not, but there we go. Llandaff wants a bunch of things to upgrade. Let's have a look at you. This settlement needs a couple of products to keep growing. You can either produce them or pay a sum of cash for each product that you don't feel like giving them. We could have our own toy store. Oh. Or a clothing store. Honestly, since there's a toy store on the map, I'd be inclined for something that we don't already have. They want 13 wall panels and a delivery of 12 bricks, as I suspected. Ironmongery would be there as well, but I don't believe there's anywhere on the map that requires bricks. So we really would only be producing those for the sake of this one place. But we could then pull that down, but it wouldn't be that expensive. We could just straight up pay for this. But the wood panels, let's have a look. What are wood panels? What do they... Wall panels, sorry. Wall panels require... They require some sort of ironmongery, it looks like. Let's have a look in the recipe book. Wall panels. They are made in a carpentry center. Wall panels require copper tubing. We've got copper, but that would, again, that would require ironmongery. We could go for a shop that would make use of that, perhaps. That might not be a bad thing to go for. But it would require a lot of research to be even able to do. Whereas bricks, we can just straight up do it ourselves right now. If we have a look at under bricks, that should be in the glassworks and smelter. Bricks, where do they get sold? Does it tell me anything about them? Producers, glassworks and smelter. It isn't a component in anything, so that's where it stops. Copper tubing. Oh, it just requires copper. This is... Hold shift for more info. Used in radiator, refrigerator, stovetop, and wall panels. So we could actually set this up because we do have copper at this in this region. Let's have a look there. I would prefer to produce it myself if I can. Where's the nearest copper? No, there we go. So we could start mining copper. Does Llandaff actually use copper straight up? Because if it does, I'd be quite happy to produce that. Let's have a look at your hardware store. It doesn't require copper. That's a shame. But the wall panels would be something we could bring in, especially if we open up ironmongery. Let's have a look at shop overview. Is there anywhere that needs them? Now, Orst has 3 shops. Do any of them require anything from... No, it doesn't look like it. What about Rochester? You require straight up copper, so I could sell to you. And you require bricks, so that's good. That's very good, actually. Ostery, you require, again, straight up copper, so we could deliver to you without too much issue. Yes. Okay, so I think we are going to actually do this. We don't have anywhere to sell the wall panels yet, and that is a bit of a problem. We could open up ironmongery or clothing. I think we'll go for clothing, but we're going to try and produce these. So the bricks are the first and most obvious one for us to go for. What are required for bricks? Now that should be under glassworks. There we go. So we just need sand and water, which we're already producing. Now we don't need to produce these in a large quantity, so I'm happy with that for now. Let's have a look. Are we actually stockpiling a large amount? No. We're stockpiling a bit of sand, but not a large amount of sand. We may need an extra sand collector in that case, because our smelters here, I mean, they're slightly overproducing, which is fine for us for the time being. The bricks require 2 and 1. So we could make do with a very small production of bricks. We would be able to, with this, with one facility, produce enough sand to get 1 load of bricks per month, just not 2 of them. Alright, that wouldn't be too terrible. However, the wall panels, we are going to need to set up an entire new industry to mine the copper. We've already got iron, able to produce at an iron mine. Is there anything else that do we have anywhere that tells us that we can gather copper? I imagine we already can, to be fair. Generally speaking, you've got all harvesters to begin with. So a copper mine wouldn't be a terrible idea. Out here, we would be able to gather all the copper that we would want, and straight away we'd be able to just straight up sell it. I'm on board with that one. We'd need to have a look for the nearest place that we could deliver to, though. Wrestle, do you accept copper? No, unfortunate. What about Bardney? Oh, wrong one. Bardney does not accept copper. Horst, how about you? Horst does not accept copper either. That is a shame, because that would have been quite useful. I could have sent everything down through the same ship. Tavistock, how about yourself? No, Tavistock does not. Okay, that's a little bit of a problem. Let's go back to the shop overview. Was it Austrey? Austrey does, and Rochester does as well. Where is Rochester? Rochester, no, that's Chippenham. Alfreton, Rochester, Rochester rather, and Austrey are both in the same location. So actually, having a ship moving up here is probably still worthwhile. It's a long trip, though. Would it be better to go land, or would it be better to fly? I'm not sure. As the crow flies, I would say flying would be significantly better than going the sea route, because it's a very long way. The sea route is fine for us because it isn't too far out of the way, but we would have to go a long land to get over there. It may be worth our while, ultimately. Well, there's no point in doing anything until we've got wall panels. Let's have a look at carpentry. There we are. Wall panels will be the next thing that we'll look into, but ultimately, I think getting Zeppelins might be worth it. Can build a Zeppelin field. It'll take a while for us to get, but moving things by Zeppelin would be kind of cool. I'm going to be honest, we're going to pop that one down as something to look at. We could also do trains. I mean, why am I deciding on Zeppelins instead of trains? I have no suitable answer to you other than the rule of cool. It will probably be prohibitively expensive. I don't care. It's fine. We'll be okay. The main thing... Ooh, look at that traffic there. I'm not enjoying that so much. I'll be honest. And there's a lot of trucks moving around here. So how about instead we have a little route that goes up and around like so. And perhaps even bring this route across there. So we've just got some other options. I may make this route input only down here. Or maybe output. It's hard to say, but I can use one-way streets to force my vehicles to take certain routes. That may be worthwhile. Perhaps this route only allows in that direction, so any traffic from this depot will have to go up and around and just bypass this whole area. That may be worth doing. But we've got our bricks ready, so let's go ahead and place this down. I think this is going to be the last thing we do here. Oh, prototype facilities. That's a little ways off from us just yet. So we want another glassworks and smelter, and we could easily have you popped in there. This is going to be producing very little in terms of everything else, but we'll just call this one the brick smelter. There we are, and it'll just be brick smelter 1. There we go. Bricks are set up. Marvelous. Okay, so you can go ahead and gather whatever resources you need, and we will set up a ahead of schedule. A positive. Okay. After some nice incentives, workers in factories in a region have exceeded their normal production rate. Well, no one's actually set up over there, so the production rate in Wrestle is not going to really be affected by anything. All right, tier 1 bricks. There we go. I would like very much to deliver these to... no, we want contract. There we are, Llandaff. Please and thank you. Just go ahead and provide as much as you can for that particular contract. And we'll see where we can go. We're working on copper tubing next, and until we have copper tubing, there's no point in building a copper mine because we can't do anything with it just yet. But once we can, and that is going to be rather awesome, I must confess. Got a lot of trucks trying to get down here. Well, there's a little bit of a patch. Perhaps we should have a one-way system, so all the trucks trying to leave and then all the trucks trying to come down. They don't get in each other's way. But that being said, I'm not sure that that one-way system would actually improve anything, because we were seeing the bottleneck around here between those trying to get to the sand collector. What would help more is having a separate set of roads for the water siphon. Though we'll set this one up as the smelter water siphon. We'll just get that smelter water siphon. There we go. That's a bit easier. And have we got smelter sand collector as well? There we go. Of course, I can't fit it. Smelter collector. It makes enough sense for me. I'm fine with it. But there we are. The brick smelter is working fantastic. So we've got concrete, we've got bricks, we've also got cotton, and increased our paper mill production. I'm actually really happy with that, and we're seeing that things are still fine over there. Let's have a look at the cotton warehouse. Storage is fine here. Grape warehouse, no excess storage there. Very nice to see. The orange warehouse is producing enough for the time being. How about down here in the sand warehouse, though? We are seeing sand and water. Everything so far is doing what it's meant to do. So I'm going to wrap up the episode there. In the next one, hopefully we can get Llandaff up to the next tier and unlock the... Oh, does Llandaff not have this? Oh, there we are. I just need to click on the actual upgrade there. There we go. We need to get to the clothing store, and then we can start expanding out our cotton fields. We will probably head... that way we can have actual textiles which will tie into making dolls. Because as we saw, we need dolls and... textiles and cotton to make dolls. Well, if we've got a clothing store, we're going to want to produce textiles anyway. And that way we can use the excess textiles, the excess cotton to make the dolls, which we will then ship all the way over to Orst. Whether we go for the Zeppelins really for moving copper, I don't know. But being... Oh dear, another event. But getting everything over to Ostery and Roaster would be good, because these are large towns. That wouldn't be too bad. A sudden flood has affected the region. Water levels are higher, so water comes easy, but it's also making it harder for your farmers. Which region? No, really? My actual region. Why? You scallywag. Absolute scallywag. Right, well, I'm going to turn the alerts off for my water siphons, because that's going to get super annoying super quickly. But okay, my farmers are going to have a bit of a rough time. That is not great. But these events happen. Do we know how long that will last for? I don't know. We'll have a quick look. How long might this go on for? Events. Sand demand plus 50. Oh, that's not too bad. Or building up plus 50%. Wow. Okay, we're going to go through a bit of a rocky few months, but that is going to be it from me. As always, I really do hope you've enjoyed the episode. And do remember, if you are interested in the second key of the 5 keys I have to give away, then please just post a comment on the video letting me know you're interested. And I will randomly pick, or rather, random.org will randomly pick a name from the list of people interested. And I will reveal it in the next episode. But until then, and as always, do take care, everyone.